Looks like we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Alexi. I am the MC for tonight. We're here playing a game. We're here playing Checkpoint Midnight Waltz of Treachery Season 2, Session 2, because this is part of a quarterly series, but we're into the second season of it. This game has been organized through the Gauntlet gaming community. The Gauntlet is a great place for playing games online. You can find out all about the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com or follow it on Twitter at GauntletRPG. The game we're playing tonight is Checkpoint Midnight. Checkpoint Midnight is an in-development game of supernatural espionage in Cold War Vienna. I am the designer. I'm working on it under my game design brand of Cloven Pine Games. If that sounds like something that sounds cool to you, you can learn more about Checkpoint Midnight by following me on Twitter at Cloven Pine Games, by checking out my Cloven Pine Games itch.io page, where I've got a number of free games also available, or by signing up for the Checkpoint Midnight mailing list at bit.ly/checkpointmidnightlist, capital C, capital M, capital L. And information about that should be down below this video if you're watching this on YouTube. With all that out of the way, let's meet our party. I'd love to first introduce our players and then go background and introduce our characters. So first, introduce yourself as a player. You can mention your Please tell us your name, mention your pronouns if you wish, and your online handle if you so desire. Puckett, start us off.
Hi there, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns.
Moving right along. Leandro, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Leandro. I use he, him pronouns. I guess you can follow my Twitter since that's the most public place you can find me. It's twitter.com/lpondoc. That's LPONDOC. It's not pronounced Lpondoc, but I've made this joke before. It's pronounced Lpondoc, but it's the spelling. That's all that matters.
Great, very good. Next up, Jesse. Please tell us about yourself.
I think it's very important to recite Twitter handles as invocations and always to pronounce them properly. But I'm Jesse. My pronouns are he, him. I don't do anything interesting on the internet. Don't look for me.
Hey, you're here playing this game. That's an interesting thing on the internet.
It's true, and you can find me through Alexi at Cloven Pine Games.
I did tweet about playing Under Hollow Hills with you. That was a lot of fun. Steven, last but not least, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hi there, I'm Steven, he, him. I do not have a presence on the internet, but I suppose I will, if Alexi's offering, if you ever want to contact me, feel free to contact Alexi, and I'm certain he will eventually let me know.
I'm sorry, you broke up for a moment, but I take it there was another joke about following Cloven Pine Games in order to try to get in touch with Steven?
Yes. If ever you want to contact me, simply bother Alexi enough, and eventually he will have to contact me to stop being bothered with the abusive things you want to say to me being said to him.
All right. So if I get feedback on this series, I will be passing it along to my players. That seems fair.
Or maybe any messages you have to me, like Alexi can send to Leandro or something.
Yeah, we could do a sort of whisper down the lane thing. Let's meet our characters. Let's check in. We are playing, as I said, Checkpoint Midnight, which is a game of supernatural espionage in Cold War Vienna, and you can't have espionage without spies, or at least operatives. So let's meet our operatives. Puckett, please tell us about your character.
I am playing Jack Hardesty, who was a duty-bound American soldier until he was killed in combat and then revived by scientists working under the auspices of, presumably, a government. And ever since, he's been hunting them, because this shouldn't happen to anyone, much less to him, and certainly not to anyone else. And he's damn well going to make sure of it.
A man on a mission, that Jack Hardesty. Can you tell us where
thinks that he is the only one to be resurrected from the dead.
I didn't catch all that.
Oh, every man thinks that he is the only one to ever be resurrected from the dead.
Oh no. I know they've resurrected more people. I've met a couple. they're not real happy about it either.
Puckett, do you mind telling us where Jack was when we last saw him? What he was in the midst of when we wrapped the last session?
He was staring at a Gustav Klimt painting.
And Death had spoken to him through the painting.
And asked me to talk to, was it Kosakova?
Yelena Kosakova, I think, yeah.
Who was being braced by, if I remember correctly, Steven's character.
Yeah, there was a tete-a-tete going on there. So it sounds like she's got more operatives to talk to before her night is over. Wonderful. Good to have Jack in the mix as always. Leandro, will you tell us about your character?
Yeah, my character is Emilie Landau, who is the favored, artful, rather morally loose character. Certainly nowhere near as altruistic as Jack. She has been blessed with weird luck and weird powers from a mysterious stranger who took her from a small Austrian village all the way here to Vienna to enjoy life to the fullest, which she has been trying to do even amidst all these Cold War shenanigans. She acquired a conscience last series. Sadly, it was not her conscience. It was someone else's, so it's not really been working out. And she's just... maybe she'll stand for something. Who knows? We're 4 sessions in, and so far she hasn't.
What did we see her getting up to at the end of the last session?
Well, while everyone else was having a wonderful time at this art gallery party bonanza that she had brought them to, where they were only there because of her. Or at least somewhat. Well, that's what she likes to think. No, instead she had to go chase this art thief for basically getting on the painting that she was there to steal in the first place, and had to run and kind of probably just ruin her night and go running off and beating up this art thief. And she did manage to get the painting, but she's still in an annoyed mood because she'd booked maybe an hour of just gadding about, and now she has this painting. She has to go deliver it, I guess.
That's right. For her new handler, George Dixon of the Central Intelligence Agency. Cool. Yeah. So we'll check in with Emilie. I'm interested in her and her conscience and her painting. Absolutely. But Jesse, will you tell us about your character who joined us last time? I guess I should say we've had some of these characters around since the beginning of this quarterly, and some of these characters joining in for this season. Let me show us pictures. Let me show the character keeper just in case someone's watching the stream and wants to get a sense of the characters we're talking about. So we got Jack, we got Emilie, and now we've got Jesse's character. Please tell us about him.
Yes, I am playing Joske Rabinovich, a Polish-Jewish survivor of the Holocaust, who has since made it his life's mission to rid the world of Nazis, and he has in particular caught wind of a particular Nazi conspiracy in collaboration with some Nightmare Fae, to do the thing that Nazis do, which is take over the world for the master race. That's not a lot of people believe me. I believe Valentine and Jack are the only two at the moment who take me so seriously. And that's really the only thing I care about. Beyond that, I think, like Emilie, my morals are somewhat loose. But I do have
finer things we've established.
Yes, I have a taste for the finer things, but my loyalty is to my mission and not a whole lot else.
You've got a friend, though. You've got a friend who's patched you up, a fellow survivor, a Romani woman, who's now here in Vienna as well. Let me see. Where were you when the session wrapped up? What was Joske getting up to?
So I had managed to track down I had stumbled across some of two people possessed by some of these nightmare fae. One of whom was named Anna Seidler, and I believe she took me up to the roof. Right, she has me in custody, I want to say. Is that right? Yeah. Whether that or it was just out of the main party into a more private place.
Let's see. I think the party was just happening on the roof, right? So you may be talking to her, over by the edge of it or wherever. But yeah, there's the rest of the party's around.
She had the jump on me. In any case.
Yeah, you were trying to convince Jack to help you go after these folks, and then suddenly these folks were right on top of you.
Yeah, then I rolled a 4.
smiling sinister smiles and making pointed small talk. Yeah, well, I'm excited to check back in on that developing situation. Last but not least, our other new character for this season, we have Stephen as the Wayward. Stephen, why don't you tell us about your character?
Well, hello, darlings. I'm Valentine Garvey, erstwhile son of Night, child of the chthonic realms, walker of the shadowed paths, etc., etc. I really don't need to. If I went on listing all my titles, we'd be here all evening. I am here, presume under ostensibly to gather things of beauty for my mother, so that she can claim them and have them disappear into the dark shroud of night. But I have also been engaged in a bit of smuggling or jailbreaking, however you want to define it, of souls from the underworld, so that they can, nicely pass back into the realm of the living. For those who willing to pay the right price. Last session, I had a wonderful time at this party. Really, I mean, things went swimmingly. I believe I had a wonderful chat with Kosakova. I was able to make a fool of my rival. And I use those air quotes quite explicitly. Actually, what was his name? I simply remember him as the French guy.
I think Gaspard Devereaux.
Yes, because I do have leverage on him now.
Who don't you have leverage over, Valentine?
Player characters.
I see. Put that on the to-do list. Yeah.
Yes. But no, I made a fool of Devereaux, but then it's always easy. I could have told the real story in which he was in bed with his wife's mother, but I didn't. I was polite.
And you managed to have some quality time with Yelena and establish. I think you hinted things about your own kind of underworld connections.
Yes, and she is convinced that what she needs lies within the shadowed realms now, because that was the thing I picked. That's why I have leverage on her.
Cool. She's convinced she needs something that only you can get.
Yes.
That makes sense. All right, and I think that gives us a sense of where Valentine is. At the end of the last session, going into this,
always the center of attention, darling.
Always the center of attention, and just having a great time at the art auction.
Oh, well, great. I mean, the wine is just a hint from perfect, and the music is merely beautiful rather than divine. I shall have to inform my dear friend Emilie that she really wasn't missing much.
Fair enough. So let's let's check right in on our biggest cliffhanger, which is that Jack had been staring at a painting. Joske had approached and tried to recruit him, tried to get Jack's aid, and then who should approach the both of them but this couple smelling strongly of what was it? Caraway seeds? What was
it was a perfume of caraway seeds. Not an unpleasant odor, but a distinctive one.
Yeah. And if I recall correctly, the gentleman had made some sort of joke about his companion distracting the two of you while he went over to bid on this Klimt painting, and then you had you exchanged some veiled threats with the woman who we will say has introduced herself as Anna Seidler, so that we can have a name to refer to her by. Joske, you were interested in establishing your bona fides.
That is correct. And I think this is related to the also how I ended up with leverage on her. Which was that I think I know her type well. I'm very familiar with these creatures, and so I'm gonna take advantage on my first move targeting them.
Yeah, they're your preferred prey. Cool. Well, the way this move works, establish your bona fides. When you meet an important NPC for the first time, you or the MC can choose one from this list. If either of you do so, the other also can choose one. So I think what makes sense is to say they remind you of someone you've lost, given that you told a story last time about a one-time lover who one day woke up and was not himself, who had become one of them. Does that track for you? That something about this woman reminds you of that experience?
I mean, it's very easy, right? Because he woke up smelling of caraway seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, right, like every encounter with one of these creatures reminds me of him. Or is it more like something about her reminds me of him as himself, not the possessed, but not so much the events as the individual? Like what are we pushing for here?
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe it's just kind of, there's an openness to her face, right? That reminds you of. Do we get a name?
No, I need to give this lover a name.
Yeah, but there's openness to her face, and then that reminds you of how he always was, and then there's just that glassiness or something to the eyes, like just a bit of that kind of almost sleepwalker quality that you don't notice because of the bright smile, unless you're looking closely like you are, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that's perfect. I've got a name. It's gonna stick it in the chat.
And I think so now, since I've chosen they remind you of someone you've lost, you are going to mark a stress.
Yes, I will. Can you just answer a mechanical question for me? I apologize for interrupting this scene with it, but
not to worry.
The release moves, they have checkboxes next to them. What does that indicate? Just there, you can use them a limited number of times, and then you have to refresh to clear them. Like, how does that?
There are once per session things. So you can go ahead and clear them now as we're starting a new session, and you can kind of once per session you can use each of them. So if you were hard driving, you're I want to get as much XP or relieve as much stress as possible, you could try to hit all your release moves, but yeah, it's mostly just so you can't spam the same one repeatedly in a session. But it's a new session, so you have the chance to share another story of a fallen friend or false ally, should the occasion arise.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. So we have this. We have Anna. She's she laughs like you've told a funny joke, right? After you say that thing, you said something about removing what's inside someone's head, right? And she laughs, and and perhaps in the midst of this is when she introduces herself and says, and And I think I've heard of you. Joske, yes?
That's yes.
And who's your tall friend here?
This is
I was just leaving.
Oh, was it something I said? She says, in kind of mock consternation.
Not at all. He just asked me a question about the painting.
yeah. I mean, if Jack walks away, I'm gonna glare daggers at him, but I'm certainly not gonna give away his name or anything if he's
I mean, I'm trying not to blow your cover. So
Oh, yeah. No, I appreciate that. I'm it's the what's this called? It's the I think that I am not quite clever enough to get yeah, I don't pick up on that.
Yeah, just your first reaction is you had an ally and suddenly you see it seems you don't.
Yes, but it's probably in terms of I imagine that she is happy to see you go.
Yeah, so Jack's moving away. Is that, that's right, Jack?
yeah, I needed to go talk to Kosakova anyway.
All right, so you're making your way towards her. I want to ask Joske, what do you do? You're suddenly on your own over here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the play here is I'm just taking a quick look at I mean, yeah, I think I'm just like looking. Well, I think I'm going to exert my leverage over her. I think, and I think the way this kind of works, right? Because the leverage is not something that she owes me in a sort of technical sense, but it's sort of it's my right. It's my knowledge of her arrogance.
Right.
So I think I play into that, right? And what I kind of say is, listen, Miss Seidler, you've clearly well, you've got me dead to rights here. So how about you and I go somewhere private and quiet, where we can have a nice conversation, just the two of us. And I sort of like put up my hands, to sort of show my harmlessness.
I see. And so you're playing into her overconfidence, which is the leverage you specified before.
And the idea being is once the two of us are alone and her ally isn't there, and maybe in the back of my head I'm hoping that Jack remembers that was the initial plan to begin with. But at least her ally is gone and it's 1-on-1, if not 2-on-1.
Ooh, cool. So you said what you want from them. You can remove an option from the reaction list there, and you can spend the leverage to remove one more if you so desire.
Yeah. So I definitely want to take away brazen it out by marking a condition.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with getting leverage on someone else. I think I'm just going to get rid of brazen it out. Like, they have to do something for me here.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think I think what she says is A tete-a-tete with me? I'm afraid I have very little knowledge of anything that would be interesting to you. You must be planning to talk to my fiance. And kind of like, she like gestures towards the man that's now admiring the painting that Jack has walked away from. And she says, he's from one of the very oldest families in this city. I'm sure you've heard of him. So I'm gonna have her just give you leverage on her ally here. Does that work?
Sure, but so she still has me like at gunpoint, right? That's the scenario. I'm still being threatened by her.
She's around. She's not doing anything overtly threatening.
Okay, because when they initially approached me, they were. That was I believe. Anyways, what's her fiance's name?
I had a good one for this. Jan Klassen.
Ooh, how's Clausen? Klausen. Klausen. Okay. Yeah. Well, I say, and what exactly is the leverage? Just that she's like recommended me to him.
Yeah, I think the subtext is
I mean, is it that she's tipped her hand and this guy's like political connections,
right?
So you can use that against him in the future?
That makes sense.
The subtext is he's the mover and shaker.
Right.
And yeah, we'll say that's enough for a leverage to someone clever like you.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how clever we've established me as being, but yeah. Cool.
I'm going to cut away for the moment. Jack, you were making your way to another party goer at the auction.
Frau Kostakova, is it?
She turns, looks up at you. You're a tall guy, right? We've established Jack fairly fairly intimidating in stature. Yes.
I believe we have an acquaintance in common.
And who might that be?
Woman, slender, very pale, quite extraordinarily pale.
You sound like you're describing a ghost.
I smile. Well, a ghost of sorts. She asked me to relay a message.
She cocks her head, waiting.
It's my understanding that she has been, how to put this, waiting for you, if you catch my drift.
Am I still here for all this?
A good question, Valentine. You'd been chatting it up with Kozakova.
Yeah.
It sounded like you'd wrapped up your conversation, but you can be close enough to hear this if that's where you want to be.
I mean, I don't really have anywhere else to be right now. I think I probably want to meet up with Emilie at some point, but.
Cool. So what do you think? You think you wrapped up with Yelena and then started looking around, maybe noticed Emilie wasn't at the party anymore?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify for myself. I think I'm probably looking for Emilie then.
Cool. And we'll check in with you in a moment. Yeah, Jack, you're laying it out for Yelena. She says, that extremely pale individual.
Yes. We're something of old acquaintances, she and I.
And yet here you are, walking the streets of the city, occasionally murdering my countrymen. And I'm triggering from established bona fides. They've heard unsettling rumors about you, true or false. and in fact, it's the case that you have killed some Soviets. When the mood struck you.
Well, when I found out they were war criminals.
Do you say that part out loud?
And I say, only the ones who were war criminals.
This war made criminals of us all, Jack. There's only gradations left.
Well, to be more explicit, only the ones who murdered civilians in cold blood.
She gives a sort of like non-committal nod, like she can see that's a line that you draw, but there are lots of different lines people can draw.
At any rate, our mutual acquaintance does so want to meet up with you at your earliest possible convenience. And if I may, although we have only just met, she's not one who likes to be kept waiting, and I would not delay.
What are you doing here? Is this a move?
I think in a weird way, I think I'm trying to offer comfort.
Tell me a little more about how you're offering comfort while delivering an ultimatum from death herself.
I mean, my thought at last session was to use the Die Hard release move.
Recruit someone to pursue a lost cause.
Which, basically saying it's time to die certainly feels like a lost cause. But Miss Kosakova is older, right?
She doesn't look it, though. Of course, sometimes people are older than they look.
Looks are deceiving, right?
Yeah.
So, is there anything about her that I can see, like crow's feet around the eyes, anything like that? Smile lines that indicates that she's older than she looks, but she's hiding it well because of cosmetics or something along those lines.
Ooh.
Is this a decipher roll before the
It sounds a little like a decipher roll to me.
All right. I could use a natural or supernatural sense, and it wouldn't make any difference. Yeah, operator and fable are both 0. So
what you described sounded like mostly normal senses that you're leaning on.
It's an 11 anyway.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you get 3 questions, and I think like it sounds like one of them is what's going on under the surface, just like getting a little bit of a sense of her whole deal. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's not so much marks around the eyes as just the expression in her eyes that like is just older than the face that they're in, right? And there's like a like from one strange being to another realization that she's hung on to youth past the natural limit, and who knows how she pulled that off, but her eyes are a bit of a giveaway.
And what's a weak point that I could exploit?
Yeah. Similar to that conversation she had with Valentine last time, you see, even while she's, seemingly enjoying the kind of verbal sparring with you, she's also looking all around and seems to be missing something. We'll say you're able to realize, the painting Emilie's after is one she had designs on too, that are perhaps falling apart. Does that work for you as a weak point?
Sure. What danger am I overlooking?
Yeah. So her like ostensible thing is she's a cultural attaché with the Soviets.
Mhm.
You know that means she's a spy. But as you yourself do a little scoping out, you see like she's clearly an important enough spy. There's a sniper on a nearby rooftop that's just covering you while you're talking to her, and presumably covering whoever is talking to her, just in case.
Got it. Say, Miss Kostakova, I can see a bit of surprise that death talks to others and relays messages on her behalf. And I'm just going to very subtly adjust the collar of my suit so that she can see the stitching where my head was clearly sewn onto her body.
Yeah, you get like one raised eyebrow for that.
Trust me. If I could die, I would. And when I've achieved my objective of making sure that no others like me are created, I intend to. But our mutual acquaintance is not one who likes to be kept waiting. And it seems that you have a certain enemy about your person, a certain ennui.
And is this you offering comfort, or is this something else? What
I think this is me offering comfort, basically saying, you're bored. I mean, you're obviously not having fun. Maybe it's time to die.
A very Jack sentiment. Roll plus Dreamer. Let's see how this goes.
That is a 6 with Dreamer. Is there anything I can do to bump that up?
You're using the thing you just learned from the decipher?
But
so
that's +1.
That's an advantage.
Oh, so I get to roll another die.
Yeah, one more dice, and you can choose your top two. Though, of course, since you rolled double twos, that won't matter too much.
That's a 6. That's a 10.
Wow. Okay, that advantage paid off, didn't it? Good for you that it did. So yeah, on a 10 plus, take leverage over the person you comfort. Okay, so like as you say all this, right, and like she kind of like softly laughs and says, my new friend, you don't know how helpful it is to talk to someone who's seen her, though she doesn't appear as young to us all, I'll have you know. If you see our mutual friend, you tell her she knows where to find me, but I have some affairs to put in order, and as it happens, we might be able to help each other. So mark leverage.
I did.
You've comforted her, and you've also gained some key insight. But yeah, I think you told her a little bit about your mission, and like she her ears perked up at that.
Well, she knows that I'm on the side of death now. Who wouldn't want to know an undead soldier on the side of death?
Are you bringing to bear your entanglement, Jack?
Not yet.
Okay. Keeping that in reserve. All right. Well, I think she'll say, if you're ever looking to mend bridges with the government I represent, I think we could find uses for someone with your particular talents and drive. And then she raises a glass of champagne to you.
Mute button wasn't working. I clink it and smile. Cheers. Or is it Nostrovia?
Nostrovia. And on that, champagne clink, I want to check in on Emilie. Emilie, you had abandoned this party via the window, bringing with you the wrapped up painting that you lifted from the other person trying to steal the painting. Where did you go? Like, what do we see after Emilie's made good her escape?
Yeah, I think we're because I think it's established that we never see Emilie land. We just cut away. I think she is headed towards a rendezvous with Agent Dixon. Just hand this off. I think he's the type to insist to have it as soon as possible. So she's walking. I think it's a nearby alleyway. She's barefoot because she had to take her heels off to chase our dear friend Ambrose. Before she gets to the rendezvous, which is probably in some car, can she take a peek?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you want to
actual painting?
You want to unwrap the
sure.
painting to check on it?
Not all of it, but just enough to confirm. Because I don't want to have left that party for
Yeah,
a sham.
Totally. Okay. So you're just taking a peek at the painting. I'm just checking what gets triggered here. Yeah. So I think you're able to open it up, and we've established that this is a painting called Stygian Blue Dreams that the CIA considers a dangerous piece of weaponized art. There is canvas with abstract blues all over it, basically every tint and shade of blue, and it's hard, with just a glimpse, it's hard to make sense of what it's showing. But as you look at it more, it feels like the blue is kind of almost leaching out of the painting and spilling towards you. What do you do?
Cool. I think I am to, as this blue is kind of spilling out according to what I'm seeing. I'm just gonna take a finger and poke it into the blue. Yeah, I think this is. See, I have no idea how I'm reshaping this because I have no idea what the hell this is. This is
and
more
I
of
feel like it's
decipher,
a kind of supernatural sense decipher since you're poking a non-normal painting here. Yeah, roll with Fable, and we'll see how this goes.
It's going to go
cool,
badly. I rolled snake eyes.
You can still ask one, but you're also in my hands. So yeah, Emilie, what do you ask?
Okay. You're in your very caring hands. What's going on under the surface? Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Anything bad happens.
you've been experimenting with this chalk, right? Where you can draw a door and like it, opens up for you. Something with the painting has a very similar sense, but it's much more advanced than what you're doing with chalk. So this painting might be its own type of portal that doesn't just lead to the other side of a wall, right? However, you as you're kind of making that connection, figuring that out, the blue starts kind of like wrapping around your whole arm and tightening, right? And it's like it's much stronger than you would expect just moving paint to be. Your conscience is buzzing in your ear saying, "You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have poked the painting. You're not supposed to touch the art." And I'm going to ask you to take serious harm as the painting exerts its grip here.
I love that it is just my conscience now. I didn't ask for it.
A friend left it to you in her will. Now it's your conscience. A tiny ladybug that tells you what's right.
All right. Roll stress. This is the one I don't want to roll high.
That's correct.
Okay, cool. So that's about the +1. And of course I roll a 10, because of course it is one of those nights.
All right. So when you on a 10+, it's a doozy. So you choose 2 from the take serious harm list.
Okay, I'm going to grit my teeth and and mark 2 stress.
Yeah, you're pushing through, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. And I think something in me kind of like breaks, and
Ooh.
I think I am going to mark burned. I think just the whole night of party ruined. I've lost my heels somewhere, and now this painting is giving me grief. It's just really annoying me. So it's gonna burn my dreamer stat because I'm not in the mood. And I think I even just say that as to my conscience, being like,
"You're not in the mood."
I'm absolutely not in the mood. Would you just shush?
So you haven't chosen give ground. So I feel like probably you are able to like wrench your arm free if that's what if you try to do that.
Yeah, but I think okay. So I get the sense that this is kind of like my chalk thing, my door thing.
Though on a much more elaborate manner, right? Because it's a whole abstract painting with all these blues, right? And perhaps can go somewhere besides just through a wall or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think now knowing what it can do, and this is right after she just freed her arm. I always thinking, I mean, I can't just give all of this to the CIA. I could do it some mysterious blue goo.
And are you all right? We had another operative who was trying to find you. Are you all right if Valentine catches up to you around this time, Emilie?
Yeah, sure. I think at least after the blue has let go of me.
But perhaps Valentine spots like a little like blue on your arm as he's approaching, just so he's clued in. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Valentine, yeah, you looked around. It seems Emilie was nowhere to be found at the party, and we're just going to go ahead and hard frame that you were able to find her here in the streets of the city, headed towards a rendezvous point where she's. What? Are you like sitting on a bench or something to examine this package? Where have you placed yourself, Emilie?
Yeah, I think there's like a bench. Probably like 2 or 3, probably like a block or 2 away from where I'm supposed to meet up with Agent Dixon. I'm just kind of sitting down.
Close to your supposed rendezvous. You're close to your intended rendezvous, but you've taken a moment to examine this first. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Valentine, you spot Emilie. What do you do?
It seems you've decided to change your getup, dear, and I gesture at her now blue arm.
Oh, well, no, that decision was made for me. Mm-hmm. I thought you'd be enjoying yourself at the party after I worked really hard to get all of you in. What are you doing here?
Oh, well, it was slightly less than delightful, so...
Well, that's a shame. I thought like anyone was gonna be there. I assume there's still
Oh,
anyone.
no. What I'm saying is it was merely pleasurable.
I forgot standards, of course.
Now, dear, I had hoped to catch you before you decided to hand over our little windfall to whatever secretive handler you had decided to sell it to.
Oh boy. All right, because I kind of like you, Valentine. I'll let you get on with your spiel. What's it gonna be this time?
Oh, I simply have made some wonderful friends at the party who are themselves, I'm sure you must have had some run-in, quite invested in getting a hold of this painting, and are more than willing to pay its new owners for it.
So it's a simple matter of screw one handler for another.
Oh dear, you say that like nobody wants to be screwed.
Well, depends on the definition. I think she's like looking at the painting because I don't think Valentine knows of what it actually is, or just saw the blue, or maybe he saw enough. Who knows? I don't know. I can't. Not gonna decide what Valentine knows. You're going to have to do a bit better than just someone else wants this, because there's a lot of people who want this, and I have it.
Well, of course, we could always say that perhaps the painting did not entirely make it to your handler in one piece. And who is to say where the other piece goes?
Telling me, Valentine, that you would be able to quarter this painting into enough chunks to satisfy practically no one, or practically everyone.
As if you think I'm have no background in a little forgery, dear.
I'm not particularly sure about your backgrounds, Valentine, but even I think you might have a touch of trouble trying to forge this. I think I'm going to exert my leverage on you because I just looked at this and I have one.
Hey, yeah. What are you exerting your leverage to? What are you hoping to get from Valentine then?
Basically, because let me double check something. Just double check. Basically, because Emilie's stats for rolling spooky are crappier than Valentine's, she wants him to mess with the painting and see if it can be
divided. Like you want him to try to divide the painting into pieces.
Like I think she specifically wants a little bit for herself. It sounds like is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like give up on my plan, but cut it up a bit for you. That works for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
all right, dear, but only because I owe you.
You're complying. You're going along with this leverage. You get to mark an experience.
Yeah.
Which I think fills up your track. So we'll chat about that. But yeah, so what do you do? It sounds like you are acceding to Emilie's plan.
Yeah, I pull out my Shadow Edge dagger,
Hmm.
the one that Emilie has such a familiarity with. And
Oh, she tried to steal it from you once.
yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why she has such familiarity with it. And pull off my shades so that we can see the dark pits of cold, icy blackness that are my eyes. Now let's see what can be worked with this. And I am using my... Whoops, accidentally clicked and dragged the basic moves instead of me.
I think you're getting spooky, yeah?
Yeah.
With the hope of dividing the painting. Like
Or at least cutting off enough for Emilie. Like I'm giving up on my plan to sell it off to other buyers, but I am helping Emilie keep some for herself.
Yeah, and you know, you're friends with me. You can see some of it, and if you want,
Fair enough.
It's an interesting piece.
Roll plus fable.
That is an 8.
Nice. So the world warps to your will. So you're gonna be able to take off a piece of this painting. Absolutely. You just have to choose 2 of the get spooky drawbacks.
I'm going to choose you struggle to keep your sanity fully intact, mark a stress, and you've... Like, now, I just kind of, before I pick this, would like doing things beyond what I meant mean destroying the painting, because I don't necessarily want to like mess with that.
No, it just means something, you know, something beyond what you meant. So if you're if
I'll do that. I'll pick that.
You're dividing but not destroying the painting, then that's what you're doing.
Actually, you know, we're having a slow scene here. I'm going to draw attention to myself.
Yeah, okay, cool. So as you cut the painting, what about it brings your mother's realm just kind of unmistakably to mind?
I mean, it has the writhing life that only the darkness of the shadowed paths possesses.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And of course, you know, it's Stygian blue dreams. So, you know, the blues here recall the river Styx, right? You know, the deep dark blues of your mother's kingdom. Absolutely. How? Yeah. So but your shadow edged knife cuts true. How are you just like cutting off a corner or like slicing the thing in half?
No, like I'm kind of doing the thing of like with art thieves, like they'd recut, like, well, really, or also people doing like testing samples. They cut samples from like part of the canvas pulled over the frame rather than like the main part. Like I'm trying to cut off some of the edges and whatnot to take to collect some of this material rather than like from places we can like just like rebind it on and cover up the fact that we've done some cuttings.
Oh, I got it. So there's a so it's the sort of thing where, you know, hypothetically Emilie can deliver it without revealing that she's taken a piece herself.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So you're like working around the frame, just, you know, like cutting like extraordinarily fine, you know, an extraordinarily fine line with this knife, right? Because you've like had to like go up inside the frame a little bit to get the part of the canvas that's gone over. But, you know, there's a piece of canvas now that has, you know, this part blank canvas, part this, you know, really striking blue that almost seems to move a little bit as you look at it, and that you hand that to Emilie.
Yeah, and Emilie will like take
See,
it.
it takes decades to perfect this kind of skill, my dear.
I understand. Hence why I ask others to do it for me. Thanks very much.
Would you say I am feeding your vices or addictions?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see how you're not.
Okay.
Are you marking the release move enabling?
Yep.
And are you clearing a stress or
Yeah, I'm
taking an
clearing a
XP?
stress.
Fair enough.
I'm starting to get a bit high in stress.
Don't want to get too much stress. Absolutely. Yeah. So like as you do that, there's a sudden roll of thunder, even though it's it was like a clear night sky moments ago. Emilie, you get that like like hairs standing on end feeling that you get from your your electrical friend Timofey.
God's sake.
Oh dear.
Yes, this is the part where some less favorable acquaintances are going to show up.
Well, I suppose if you're adverse to dealing... Well, I suppose I should ask, are you more adverse to dealing with blackness beyond measure or a bit of electrocution?
Well, if I had it my way, I'd try to avoid both, but I'd rather not do with some electrocution.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to open up a pathway into the pathways of night then. Because I do
Nice.
have Thread the Maze.
Yeah, when you navigate the labyrinthine byways that link this city and the Nether realm. Yeah, so that might be our little cliffhanger here.
Yep.
Just tell me what that looks like as you open up a pathway.
I think I like take out my dagger again and like I want to say like I carve my sigil into the stone of one of the nearby buildings in order to like bind this place as an entrance. And then like I kind of cut down and it's almost like I'm tearing through the space to open up this tear into darkness.
Wonderful. Yeah, we'll say it's like a bombed out church or something, right? So you've got some nice Gothic stonework to tear through.
And I am trying to game this a little bit, but am I permanently marking a piece of the city as my own? Because I don't quite know what that means.
It means whatever you want it to mean. So yeah, if you want this to leave a lasting mark, right on, like if
Sure.
you want it to be sort of thing where it doesn't go away after you've used it, then that would count as permanently marking a piece of the city as your own. So what does your sigil look like exactly? Or give us a little sense of it, I suppose.
Let's see. I think it looks like two serpents like skewered and intertwined upon an arrow.
So like there's some deft carving there to quickly put that symbol into the stone. Absolutely, absolutely. And let's go ahead and roll Thread the Maze, but I think we're kind of cutting away, probably taking a break before we see how it plays out. But I'm interested in knowing which of the Thread the Maze results we're going to be seeing.
I got a 9.
Oh,
nice. So on a 9, on a hit, your goal is within sight. On a 7 or 9, you encounter a threshold guardian. So we'll check in on that when the time comes. For the moment, maybe take 10 or take 12 and see you back here at 5 of the hour. Does that work for everyone?
Sure.
Cool. right, Leandro, are you back? Wait another minute. Hey, there we go. All right, looks like we're all back. Hey, everybody. So, returning to the auction and the rooftop and the party and the glittering Viennese citizens up there. Joske, you've just been sort of brought, right? Turned by Anna over to Jan Clausen, handsome young man. Seems Austrian. The name maybe rings a small bell. As a well-known Viennese family. He's been admiring the Klimt. And as as he becomes aware of you, he turns. He says, "I'm sure my fiance has made sure you know that if you are thinking about bidding me on the Klimt, you're dreaming."
Yes, well, I think I know better than to dream. And I think, all right, what do I want from this guy? Really, I want him dead. That is what I want.
And yet you're in the middle of a party.
Yes, and yet I'm in the middle of the party. And also, maybe he can point me to other people who I can kill. In the short term, it might be helpful to keep him alive. I think I want to take a. I think I look at the Klimt and I look at him. I look at the Klimt and I look at him, and I'm just gonna kind of try to decipher him.
That's extremely legit. Go ahead and roll. Are you relying on supernatural senses here, or just kind of your operator skills?
So that's the question, right? So I have this protective amulet. There's a picture of it in the character keeper if you scroll down. To sort of ward my dreams, and I'm thinking, I could maybe, but try to see if there's something supernatural about his relationship to the Klimt. But I think I'm just going to use my basic eyes, ears, mouth, nose.
Okay.
Senses to figure this out. This is against him, not her, so I do not get advantage. And I will roll it plus operator. Oof. It does not matter what my operator is, as that is a 3. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
I was going to mark a stress so you could roll with advantage. Does it matter now?
Well, advantage might help if you got a significantly better dice in there.
6.
Jack, to do that, you need to be able to provide aid or run interference. What are you thinking of doing?
Oh, I was just thinking of backing away from Madame Kostakova and inadvertently bumping into them looking at the Klimt painting.
Joske, do you want that help, or are you up to just take the miss?
Given that my operator is a -1, and so that extra die would really need to be a 6 for this to pull this off. I don't think it's worth the stress, Jack. Although I appreciate the offer.
Well, I'll just back away from Madame Kostakova and bump into him for flavor anyway.
No, absolutely. I noticed you immediately, and I think they probably see a kind of nervous smile play across my lips in that moment, because
all right,
I know what happens when Jack bumps into things.
Joske, you still get to ask one question from for Decipher. However, you're in the MC's hands. Prepare for the worst.
Yeah, I'm afraid of what the answer to this question is going to be. I mean, I want to know what's going on under. I want to know, what's going on under the surface here, specifically about the Klimt and these Nazi folk.
Yeah. You you can use your nose, right? Like we've established there's this scent, and I think like getting the chance to interact with Jan, you realize he doesn't smell like the caraway seeds, or maybe he's got like a tiny a bit of it from having Anna on his arm as he came in, but he's a person, right? There's a person in there. You suspect deeply enmeshed in this, but it's not just a fae riding around behind his eyes. Does that work for you as going on under the surface? And
it does. It doesn't. I don't care. He's a Nazi. But yeah, continue.
I mean, here like, I think we'll just go ahead and say you correctly surmise he just wants the Klimt because he thinks of himself as a man of taste, and wants to acquire these sort of things. However, yeah, that was a miss. So Jack kind of like bumps into Jan. Jan kind of like reaches out, like puts a hand on your shoulder, and like we'll say you feel Anna like deliberately lean up against you, and then
Hold on, you're roboting. I can't hear you.
Over the roof.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay.
You were roboting.
There's. Can you hear me a little better now?
Yes.
So I described this domino situation where Jack bumps into Jan. Jan like reaches out, like puts a hand on your shoulder, and you feel Anna like lean into you and then throw herself off of the side of the roof, and there's a scream. Now she's not human. She must have a plan here. But for everyone else around, they like turn and they see a woman screaming and falling over the side of the roof, and Jan is suddenly like in your face yelling at you, Joske. What did you do? What did you do?
I didn't do anything. She didn't. She just fell.
Jan like yells over at the auctioneer, "Call the police! This man is a murderer!"
Yeah, I think I whisper gently in his ear. I know what you are. I know who you work with and who you work for. And I don't think calling the police is a great idea for either one of us. And I'm using my leverage.
Okay. What option are you removing from the list?
Yeah. Definitely getting rid of brazen out by market condition. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to keep the leverage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you just see the you see like under the like put on of anger, the like fear in his eyes as you're telling him that everything, right? And so I'm you're going to take an additional leverage over him, right? But he's backing away and yelling, and like the rest there are people like running to the side of the roof to like stare over it. And like the whole party is there's just not much of a party going on anymore. There's more like chaos up here.
He's not backing too far away, because when he's going to bump right back into me, and I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder, and to anybody seeing, it seemed like I'm just like trying to steady him, but he feels the grip of a dead man.
Yeah, and I shout, "This son of a bitch and his..." Excuse my language. This, because we're at a hoity-toity party. This fine gentleman is conspiring against me. This is all a big setup, and this is not like I'm not. This is not a put on, right? Like I'm very sincerely now like a little bit losing it.
Are you checking a release move here? Oh, you've frozen for a moment. I'm afraid. Can you hear me, Jesse? Shoot, we've got Jesse frozen a little bit, so we'll check in on that in a moment. Jack, it sounds like you were putting a cold, dead hand on the shoulder of Jan Clausen. Are you specifically getting spooky to intimidate him there?
You know what? Don't I have the ability to assign a personality to one of those limbs?
You do. It's true. This is your role move, which we haven't seen used that often. But you can decide there is someone. There's a specialist among the people you're made up out of. Hey, Jesse, welcome back.
The internet blinked out.
Sorry we lost you. Let me remove the other you, and we've still got the real Jesse. Phew.
Right, back to
when we lost you, I was asking whether you you're yelling about a conspiracy was triggering a release move for you.
Yeah, that's what I was doing there.
All right. Go ahead and check paranoid, and you can mark an XP or clear a stress. Jack, sorry, you were in the midst of using the other personalities that exist within your composite being to accomplish something.
Well, I think the left arm came from an interrogator. So what the hell? I'll mark a stress. And
yeah. I think the move asks you to give a name or nickname to that piece of you. So you can tell me if that interrogator has a name or a nickname that Jack's aware of.
The weird thing is, it's not even an American arm. It's a Russian arm from an interrogator named Victor.
Yep. And there's a negative personality trait associated with Victor.
Besides the fact that Victor's a bully.
Bully is a perfectly fine negative trait, and certainly puts you in that line of work. So and we're saying just like the simple the grip that you're exerting here, is meant to kind of instill fear.
Yes.
Go ahead and make a get spooky roll with advantage, unless you think there's another move triggering. But get spooky does have a intimidate someone, and certainly if you're using one of your Frankenstein arms to do it, you're letting out your inhuman side.
Alrighty. Oh boy, that's a miss.
Even with advantage?
Even with advantage. 1, 4, 1.
Yeah. So,
I mean, Victor's a bully. They're going to assert themselves thoroughly. I mean,
I think let me know how this sounds, but I think like you just wanted to put the fear of God into this guy, and you find your arm kind of like independent of your own plans, just like lifting him up off of his feet, right? And so like now everyone in the party sees you dangling this prominent Viennese citizen in the air, and at that point, gunshots start ringing out.
That's a lot calmer than what I figured Victor would do. I figured Victor would dangle him over the edge.
I think that might be where what he was planning, but somebody shoots you in the back before that happens. Roll to take serious harm, and we'll see where things go from here.
Do I see who shot him?
it's a chaotic situation. I don't think you immediately do, but possibly you could figure it out.
That is a 9 on serious
Okay.
harm.
You're going to you on a something on you take your licks. You choose one from the serious harm list.
You know, I'm going to give ground so the opposition gets a juicy opportunity.
Yeah. So what does it look like? Is it that you're stumbling as you take this hit? Because we've seen Jack we've seen Jack shrug off bullet wounds sometimes, but it was a shot you weren't expecting while you were also dealing with a rebellious left arm.
Yeah. I think I stagger forward and probably spin around a little bit, putting Jan squarely in the line of fire.
Got it. So you're kind of trying to use Jan as a shield, but you've also stumbled. I think someone.
It's so much as using him as a shield as it is knowing that there's information that I need to get from this person, and the shot kind of spun me around a bit. So now they're in danger, and I may not get the information I need.
Jack, you can't turn your own consequences into just more death for people that you're threatening necessarily. Yeah, we'll say you hear a yell though, as like he's grazed by a bullet that was probably also meant for you, party goers are fleeing, and there are French police on the roof, right? Like they've gotten here fast, almost like they were waiting for someone to make a call, and they've got guns trained on you, Jack, and someone's yelling in French, but the intent is clear. It's put him down and put your hands up. Joske, things have gotten pretty chaotic. I want to check in on what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I see Jack get shot, and the first thing I do is like turn to take a look to see where that bullet came from.
Yeah. I think it looks to you like someone's taking a shot from one of the nearby rooftops.
Oh, so okay. How close are the rooftops? Like is it jumpable, or is it like across the street?
Yeah. It's something a fit person could probably jump.
Yeah. So I just make a dead on sprint break, to run for that rooftop, and
yeah. I feel like this might be infiltrating a restricted area if you're trying to jump onto a rooftop that an enemy sniper has fired from.
Yeah, I mean, it's neither stealth nor force. I guess it's closest to force, but I'm not breaking anything. I'm just taking a leap.
It's a forceful infiltration. Go ahead and roll plus weapon.
Sure. Double check what my weapon is. Okay, that's not bad. That's a 7.
Okay, good thing you had that plus one.
The
weapon.
plus 1 helps.
Yeah, on a hit you make it. On a 10 plus you get in or get out clean. Not so much. So on you choose either you leave evidence and mark a stress, or you find yourself in a sticky situation.
I mean, I think I'm obviously in a sticky situation, right? Like, I don't know what evidence would even mean in this context. I'm not I'm not. Everyone sees me jump into the rooftop in the middle of this party.
Yeah, everyone sees you jump from one roof to another. We'll say it's like just like over a little alleyway to a roof, that's like a it's like a sloping up roof a little bit, right? Like so you're kind of you like land and then you're looking up. You see someone kind of like the silhouette of someone hastily reloading up by a like a little like outcropping on this roof. Definitely a sticky situation. But we'll leave you two there for the moment and check in with Emilie and Valentine, who were threading the maze. So Valentine, give me just a little sense here. When you open up this gateway to navigate the labyrinthine byways that link Vienna and the Nether Realm, what do you see on the other side? Like, is it like just this pure dark passageway, or are there like things discernible to you at least in the byways?
No, of course there are things in the byways. There are the writhing tendrils of darkness that never cease to move, always at the edge of our sight. There are the eyes that follow you, that probably belong to something that would devour you. Oh, and I say to Emilie, oh, be careful, dear. If I turn my back on you, you will turn to a pillar of salt. And then I like quickly do a turn back, and I just give a laugh and say, that never
Emilie,
gets old.
how are you reacting to this little guided tour?
Probably with a bit more trepidation in her voice than she thought. She'd just say, like, the point of a prank is to let it breathe, Valentine. Also, this is an absolutely fantastic after party you're taking me to. Where are we going? What?
And there are, of course, pathways. Like, there are others traveling along these paths, usually the shades of the dead, who are proceeding to whatever, I'm certain, gloomy afterlife, because I'm not there. Afterlife awaits them.
Lovely. Can we not meet any of these shade friends of yours, or any writhing shadows, or salt pillars, or what? Can we get a move on, please?
Oh, the salt pillars. We're just wait, what was his name?
Are you thinking of Lot from the Bible?
No, isn't that also when he turned around, like,
Orpheus
she
and
turned to a
Eurydice?
pillar of salt?
I think she has to go back to the Netherworld. I don't
Lot's
think
wife.
there's salt involved.
Yeah, it's Lot's wife is the one with the
Lot's
salt.
wife.
Okay, never
Though
mind then.
I believe that Valentine in his
yeah.
prank is just freely mixing, biblical and classical allusions. Yeah, Emilie, as you're saying this, like asking about things not to meet, a figure looms up in your path, standing right in the way that Valentine and you were threading. They're wearing like a trench coat and fedora, but it's not like doing a great job disguising that they are a bronze automaton, like holding out a hand, like in like the universal sign of stop, and they say, Valentine, your guest is not welcome here.
Oh, must you? She is just a guest of mine. She's not going to be
She's a paramour
staying
of
long.
Victoria. She is not allowed. This way is forbidden to her.
Well, I am way more than just a paramour of Victoria's. You take that back, whoever you are, you mechanical whatever you are.
Well, are you making a stand?
No, I'm just being a bitchy. I'm just being annoying.
I mean, are you fast talking an NPC?
I mean, I was trying to, but
yeah.
All right, then we can have Valentine roll fast talk. What do you say once the like reason for the ban is spoken here?
What is the reason for the ban? Because I don't know the phrase.
Oh, the automaton was claiming that as a former lover of Victoria, who is a mysterious figure and creature of the night, Emilie is not allowed to walk this path.
Okay, and Victoria is an NPC that's important in Emilie's life, or
Yeah, Victoria's primarily been around in Emilie's backstory, though at one point she
okay,
left
that
you
was all I wasn't understanding. I mean, look at her. I mean, why would Victoria waste her time on that? And I kind of do that very loud stage whisper.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like fast talking an NPC. Roll plus
I'm not
operator.
helping with that.
You can interfere, right? If you want this to be less effective on.
No, I want to get out of here, so I'm not going to interfere.
Mark to interfere with what he's doing.
12, clearly.
No, I want to get out of here, so I'm not going to interfere, but I'm not going to aid either.
Well, then it sounds like you're picking. It sounds like you're not picking. You don't have to throw someone else under the bus from the fast talk list.
I mean, I'm not really throwing her under the bus. I mean, I'm saying that she doesn't know Victoria. Like, sure, I'm insulting her a little bit, but I mean, I assume that she doesn't want, like, this weird automaton spreading news that she's, like, Victoria's paramour to everyone.
Okay, so it sounds like you're trying to create an opportunity.
Yeah, let me see here. I get 3. I think with this probably doesn't work for long. This is probably gonna pretty quickly fall apart.
The one pick keeps the first moment or two, but you are, however, creating an opportunity for yourself.
Yeah, I'm creating opportunity, exposing a weakness. Well, no, I'm just gonna not expose a weakness or secret. That's okay. Actually, no, I do. I want to hear more about this Victoria. Like, so I haven't heard much about her. I mean, I know that this one tried to, pursue that for a bit, but Victoria wasn't having it. And now I think I am throwing you under a bus now, because it's now that I've thought about it and I want to find out, like, more about this Victoria. Yeah, like, I mean, clearly this one had no shot with her. But what have you heard about her?
Awesome. So you're choosing the first 3 options from the fast talk list. Expose a weakness or secret, create an opportunity, keep them confused for more than a moment or two. Yeah, as you start chatting this up, the golem says, Valentine, you haven't kept track of the important things, always focused on frivolities.
Oh, Victoria, well, I haven't gotten to come to you for gossip in such a long time.
Victoria was banished for high crimes and treason, far more serious than your petty misdemeanors.
Valentine is from here. How did you not think our golems would be gossipy, Emilie?
Yeah, so like it sounds like you're angling mostly for leverage on Victoria herself.
I mean, Emilie is just a mortal, but Victoria is someone important.
All right, yeah. Well, for what you get from the automaton, who now becomes very focused on educating you on this score, and stops even noticing Emilie at all. Conveys that Victoria was permanently banished from the realm of night for attempted usurpation.
Oh my, that is something. I'm surprised that it did not make more ripples out into the mortal realms.
Emilie, what do you do? The automaton is very distracted.
I've had enough of this nonsense. I'm gonna just draw my own door and walk out of this place. I do not need to hear about Victoria and her nonsense.
So I guess Valentine, where were you planning on taking Emilie at the end of this.
I mean, I was planning on like taking just a shortcut through the I was planning on dropping us off like a few blocks away, hopefully, away from this guy with electricity.
Sure. Okay. Cool. So Emilie figures if she just draws her own door, probably she'll come out fine on the other end of that little detour of yours. Sure, Emilie. There's a roll for when you draw yourself a door, I believe.
Yeah. So funny thing, I do have this roll move that if I just fill my stress track, I can roll as if I got a 10+.
Are you? Yeah. Are you invoking your luck here?
Yeah, the thing is, like, it needs me to call upon my benefactor to mind, and now I have to think about Victoria.
Yeah, what do you?
Out of her league, you hear Valentine shout.
Yeah,
I think that's enough.
What's going through your head, Emilie?
I think what's going through my head is that, like, I mean, I knew Victoria was a fucking tease. Jesus Christ. That she didn't tell me, and I absolutely categorically do not want to know. I'm leaving here. And I think actually what comes to mind is that like Victoria had this habit of like just appearing out of nowhere, disappearing out of nowhere, leaves gifts behind. Gee, I wonder how she managed to do that.
Yeah, as you angrily chalk a door into like whatever the wall is here, writhing darkness or whatever. You're like, who cares? Chalking a door onto it.
Yeah, and I'll leave these two gossipy hens behind.
Okay, yeah. So you're gonna you're filling your stress track. You're making a move as if you rolled a 10+. So you're gonna get your full hit result on hole in your pocket. So the thing comes into existence fully operational, and you don't have to pick any of the drawbacks. So yeah, so this door opens, and you find yourself stepping out of just stepping out into another square, right? Another spot in the city. This time. What's the strange surface or substance that you're pushing the door open from, right? Is it like a hedge or like a fountain or something?
Yeah, I like the idea that I think she comes out like a fountain, and suddenly like her feet are like wet, and the hem of her dress is like she's standing inside a fountain, not inside a fountain, but like in the pool of water, and she's just. Oh, for fuck's sake.
And in your ear, your conscience says, "Good idea, Emilie. It's bad to listen to gossip. It'll hurt your soul."
I can't believe it, but for once, I think you're right. Let's just go.
Are you now headed? Are you headed to your rendezvous?
Yeah, I was hoping to come out near my rendezvous.
Great. Yeah. Like a car, unmarked car pulls up, right? What you get into the back and like hand the wrapped painting over to some. Is like does George Dixon come himself, or is he sending a subordinate?
He seems the type to send a subordinate. That's how we met in the first place. Which is abduct Emilie from a restaurant. That did happen. So yeah, I think it's just a subordinate. Unless we become friendlier in the last year. But I don't think Emilie would have much to say, even if George showed up. She'll just say she'll just hand the painting. It's just like there. Yeah,
so this kind of young crew cut CIA guy pulls a weird little device out of his pocket, like waves it over the painting, like a blue blinks on the device. He's like, "Very good, you got the right one." And then pulls out a walkie-talkies. Control, this is Field 7. We've got the asset. Correct palette. Very good. I'll let her know. Turns to you. He's pleased. Your pay will be in the usual dead drop spot.
I don't think Emilie's going to bring up that she feels insulted that he had to check over the thing.
You know, you checked over it too, so you guys had the same instinct.
That's fair.
You completed a mission for your handler. You take a leverage because when you've when you've done a mission and they agree that you've delivered, you get a leverage on the relevant handler. I think none of your allies like knew who they were helping, who they were assisting you with through this mission. So I don't necessarily think anybody else gets a leverage from this, but you, Emilie, do.
Yeah, I feel bad, but everyone had, and they found interesting stuff to do at that party. That's what I promised.
They did indeed. Speaking of, let's check back in on that party. Jack, you have a bunch of cops surrounding you. You've got a wounded but alive and angry Jan in your hands. Probably a few party goers still hiding under tables or whatnot. What do you do?
What is it the cops told me to do?
They said put him down and put your hands in the air.
I will put him down and put my hands in the air. For once, I came to this party surprisingly unarmed. So
wow. So Jack, does this mean you're gonna let them book you, because they definitely have some questions?
At this point, why wouldn't I? By all indications, I'm an innocent party goer who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
All right. All right. If there's anything else you want to do during this, let me know. But I think we might just kind of take it as read that you get you get cuffed and escorted down to street level. The police are going to have some questions, but if you sorry.
You robot.
Let me know. Any better now?
Yeah.
Okay. I was saying to Jack, let me know if there's anything else you want to do with this. But if not, I think we can kind of take it as read that you get cuffed, brought down to ground level, end up answering questions at the French police precinct for a little while. But if you maintain your innocence,
noise along the way, and make sure I catch Trip's eye on the way out.
Right, you'd brought him along to this party. Yeah. So there comes a point where the French have asked you a few questions, and then someone comes in and whispers something to the gendarme, and they turn back to you and say, "Monsieur, you have friends among our allies, I see. You're free to go." And they unlock your handcuffs.
Thank you. Good day, chums.
And you're just back out on the street.
Probably to Trip's car.
Headed to Trip's car.
Yeah, Trip's a nice fellow. He wouldn't leave me stranded there at the police station without a ride, would he?
Sure. Yeah, you get in, and Trip's at the wheel. He says, "Jack, what was that about?"
I shrug. You've got me. I have no idea what happened back there. If I did, I'd tell you.
All right. Well, I'm very interested in finding out, because I don't have infinite chits to call in with the French, so you know.
We'll see if we can get you some more. Fancy a drink?
Sure. Where do you have in mind?
Someplace dark and cheap.
Yeah, I think the car probably pulls out, headed for a more dive-like place. Joske, you had leapt from one rooftop to another, and you hear someone reloading up behind cover further up on the roof. What do you do?
I mean, so tell me if this works. What I want to do is duck around the cover and shoot whoever this is in the knee. And I have a 1 in a million shot, which is an unlikely shot.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 in a million shot. When you line up an unlikely shot and take it, roll plus dreamer. You're planning. You're actually like not aiming for center mass. You just wanna.
I want to know who this person is. I want to be able to have a conversation with this person. And I think they are like it's one of these like I roll up onto a knee around the cut, like around whatever the like say it's a like some kind of a vent or something, like a big one of those big like vent pipes that might be on the roof of something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of the infrastructure up here.
Yeah. So I sort of like roll and come up on a knee and try to pop one off like that.
And an unlikely shot. Roll plus dreamer for this.
My dreamer is what was this? My dream? No, it's my fable that is damaged. Okay, that's good. Roll it. That is a 4. I do advance though.
Okay. Tell me what happens. Tell me what happens on a 4 real quick.
Yeah, I mean, so on a miss with 1 in a million shot, it is you've only winged them, and now they know exactly where you are. Which is, given what I did, is not like hard for them to feel like I'm standing right there in front of them.
It wasn't to like sniping them from cover unlikely shot. It was to like run up and try to shoot them unlikely shot. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I think here's the thing, right? Like you have closed the distance, and they have this big rifle. So I think what like you take a shot, and like it like hits their leg, right? But it's clearly a glancing blow. But they're you've still caught them. It's someone in like paramilitary clothes, right? And they curse in Russian as you take this shot. And then he just like slams you with the gun and tries to push you over the side of this rooftop. And you know what? I think you go over the side, and then I'm gonna have you roll take serious harm to see how well you do on the way down. Does that sound all right to you?
Sure. Let's some of these see if I can keep going with these low numbers.
Low numbers with your friend on this roll.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a 7.
And your stress is?
Do I have 2 or 3? I just reduced it. I think it might be.
You did.
Because I think it's down to 2. Yeah, 2.
All right, so that's a 9 rather than a 10 on take serious harm. So you take your licks and you choose one from the take serious harm list.
Yeah, where is it? There it is. You grit your teeth and push through something, and you break smart condition. Give ground to the opposition. Gets a juicy opportunity. I mean, I would love to do that, but I don't know what that looks like when I'm falling off a building. So I think
oh yeah, go ahead. What are you?
I was gonna say I think I'm gonna mark 2 stress.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a bumpy bumpy fall down, right? But nothing's broken as you hit the ground. Is that what I'm taking here?
Yep.
How does the stress manifest in a particular way? Like, are you like looking kind of erratic or
yeah, I mean, I think it's just like I'm it's me bugging out, right, is what it looks like. It's like I might like Anna fell off a building right next to me. She like I kind of like my gut wants to take a look at what happened there since I'm down there, but it's me like sort of like bugging out in a panic. I just fell off a building, like all this, there's some kind of conspiracy is going on. I'm kind of freaking out. And I bail. I just take off.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. Yeah, so you've kind of have been sort of battered and bruised and not gotten all the answers you wanted, but the stress is too much, and you're getting out of there. Let's if it's all right, take take 10 and come back at 10 of to wrap things up, possibly bringing our operatives back together in the process. We'll see. All right. Hey, folks.
Hey,
Just letting you know, I may end up wrapping slightly early because bedtime is, and we need two parents for it. But I'm keeping an eye on that, and I'd love to at least get to see our our end of session moves go off here, and things like that. I saw in the chat we're checking about entanglements and advancement, and indeed we've had a bunch of misses rolled. So Joske, I see you've started picking out an advancement and entanglement. You're muted at the moment.
Yeah. I did. I picked a Soviet handler and a move from another playbook.
Very cool. And we can if need be chat between sessions and bring that handler to bear by the time we gather again next week. Yeah. How do folks feel about just hard framing our operatives back together? So we gotta look at Checkpoint Midnight proper, the cafe that is the crossroads of the supernatural, and perhaps see a tiny bit of debriefing before we trigger those end of session moves. Does that work?
Sure.
All right, Jack, work by you.
I'd kind of like to hit my refresh move as well.
Are you hitting that with Trip, post interrogation, or are you voicing that as a wish for when the operatives get together?
Well, am I using the right word for it? Wandering around the cemetery to clear my stress tracks and such.
Yeah, that's a refresh move.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if anybody would like to go, well, wait a minute. Hold on. Do I have any conditions marked? I don't think I have any conditions marked. No, I just need to clear my stress track. So yeah, I could just do that with Trip and wind up at the cafe after.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So just give me a sense of that. That like after a night of drinking, the two of you end up at a graveyard, in your accustomed way, and probably unusually for Bradley Bushwick IV.
I should be in one of these. Well,
don't say that.
Well, not one without the names, but you're in my file. You know I don't belong here.
Do any of us belong here? He gestures expansively, slightly tipsily at the city.
I hear some footsteps on the sidewalk and I look. Say, oh, Lena, I'm glad you could join us.
Nice. Yeah, Lena, your former bodyguard friend, who's been of assistance in some past missions. She nods. Graveyard's clearly the sort of place she frequents as well. Your friend, who's your friend?
Trip. He's a CIA handler in the making.
You can't just tell people that, Jack. We've been over this.
Well, of course I can tell her that. She's KGB. She already knew.
He kind of stares at her a little, and she gives the smallest of nods.
Listen, Trip, my dear boy, you cannot be provincial about such things. Most of the people you're going to be working with have allegiances to others as well. You should be grateful that mine is personal and not political. Lena and I are just cut from the same cloth, as it were.
They did more cutting and sewing with you. Me, they mostly just ran thousands of volts through.
About that, Lena. I need information, and it strikes me that you're probably in a position to give it to me, but I know that such things are rarely done without favors. I thought I
on.
might as well be up and up about such things. And I give Trip a friendly elbow.
He like staggers a little bit. Like I bet he's feeling the effects of the the rest of the night's revelry more than you. Is this you setting up Lena as a additional handler?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here where better than a graveyard for two unburied souls to come to an arrangement. I'm happy to cut away if you want to leave more of those details to be kind of
Sure.
hammered out between sessions as need be.
Sure thing.
All right, but that makes a lot of sense. I'll go ahead and mark down that you're working with Lena. Are other operatives up to have us see the group meeting back at Checkpoint Midnight, and we can describe Checkpoint Midnight a little here because we haven't seen it this season. So Checkpoint Midnight is the cafe that serves as the common ground for the supernatural side of Vienna. Our version of Checkpoint Midnight has an emergency room tucked away in the back that perhaps you've made use of in the past. And the proprietor is a man who seems to be American, played in the film version by Sam Elliott, with a very fine mustache and a alias of Herr Franz. Everyone, he's friendly and warm to everyone who comes through his cafe doors, and he's rumored to have been a ruthless killing machine back in the day. Since we're getting another look at Checkpoint Midnight, let's paint the scene just a tad. Emilie, what's a kind of little telling detail of this place that lets those in the know that it's a crossroads of the supernatural and not just another cafe?
Ooh. Trying to remember what we mentioned last time, but I don't think I was there actually. I don't remember it because I missed that session. I think there's like I'm imagining like it's a subtle touch, but actually no, it's not subtle. I think this is just a trademark of the cafe. Is that like the windows that are like have shadows that are like the shadow is meant to be casting are like painted on, or at least like that advertised like being painted on. But if you like stick around for the whole day, those shadows do move, even though they're still clearly painted on.
Painted on shadows that still make moves.
It's like
absolutely. Joske, what's a little tell for people in your line of work that this isn't a mundane establishment?
So, like, just to give me a sense of the space, is it like a cafe coffee shop? Is it like a bar? Is it like I imagine they serve alcohol, but like what's the general vibe and decor of the place?
If I recall what we've discussed before, kind of coffee shop, there's leather and wood and kind of that feeling of coziness, and then out in the back there is this this kind of greenhouse, which also has seating. And so Jack was often found sitting in the greenhouse, which is one of the like peaceful places in this whole city.
Yeah, so I think there's a chair in a corner. I think it's a chair I like to sit in, maybe, but maybe I don't know. There's a chair in a corner. It's kind of like a quiet spot. And when you if you don't pay that much attention, like it's a nice chair, like dark wood, leather upholstery, some carvings. But when you look closer at the carving, especially on the armrests and the feet of the chair, It's got these sort of intricately carved armrests and legs. Something feels a little off. Like you can't force yourself to look directly at the sort of figures that are carved into this chair. I think what you'll do is sometimes people will find me there, using my hands to sort of get the shape of the sense and the sense of the shape and to sort of to visualize what the carvings actually are, because you can't look at them. It's too, you just can't.
I'm sure this this helps your attempts to appear kind of like sane and collected to other people.
100%. But also they can't, like, people try to look at my hands and they can't really, because there's this because they're on the carvings and
Valentine, what's a little giveaway in Checkpoint Midnight, the cafe?
A little giveaway to the natural or something else?
Yeah, that there's
Okay.
more than meets the eye.
I think that the various doorways and windows of the place, because of course the whole story that you have to invite certain beings in for that to keep them out, to allow them in, is a myth. But if you have the right, that is of course, unless you take the right precautions. I think that there are specifically like things carved into the wood and stone of the various doorways and portices in and out, that are specifically to make certain that things that are not welcome stay out.
Nice. So there's protections built into the place somehow.
Yes.
Two other things that were previously established about Checkpoint Midnight are just the rules of the checkpoint, which is no violence or plotting thereof on the premises, and no using supernatural powers on another person in the checkpoint. Those are the rules in the sense that those are those are understood, right, to be how you must behave to kind of to operate within this place. Of course, you can break the rules, right? Like that's a thing you can do. There just might be consequences, and they're one of the questions you roll with when you're using one of our checkpoint moves is, are you following the checkpoint's rules? You can find the checkpoint moves in the checkpoint moves tab of the character keeper, and that includes meeting a contact. So if you're hoping to meet up with a contact, meeting them at the cafe gives you a specific role for it. And of course, there's undergo treatment in the emergency room, should that become necessary. What do folks think about just about dropping in on our quartet of operatives here, and just seeing what they make of their experience the previous night?
Well, of course.
Jack, where are you set up at the checkpoint? We'll let you be the first to arrive, since you're often on. I guess you're not necessarily on the best of terms with the proprietor right now, but you and he go way back, it seems.
I allowed myself to be taken into custody. I answered the French police's questions. I hope that Herr Franz takes that under consideration. I didn't enter anyone. I didn't throw anybody off of any rooftops. I am beyond suspicion in such matters.
There's like on your at your spot, wherever it is you've placed yourself, like a single little cookie is waiting for you.
I am sitting in the corner with my back to a wall, newspapers up.
Yep.
Tripp's probably sitting next to me. I suspect Lena's there as well. I mean, we were probably only at the graveyard an hour or so ago. It's only polite to treat them to breakfast and coffee.
I see. So you're just taking your handlers to the cafe for some breakfast. Sure. Uh, Emilie, what does it look like as you arrive and find a place here?
I think immediate when she strides in, she's got sunglasses on, coat wrapped tightly around her as if like she's just really cold and tired. Clearly, signs maybe Jack would notice this, like signs that like she got back home and drank herself into an angry stupor. Um, she immediately just strides up to like the counter, like orders like breakfast, and will kind of like entrench herself on a couch somewhere in a far corner with like big "Do not disturb me" vibes radiating off her.
Great. Who disturbs her? Is it Valentine?
Well, of course. Valentine comes in, puts his hat on the hat rack, carefully removes his scarf, folds it carefully, puts it in one coat pocket, removes his gloves, pairs them carefully, puts them in the other pocket, hangs his coat on the rack, and then proceeds to sit directly next to Emilie at the bar and says, "Well, then, you had never told me that you and cousin Vicky made the monster with two backs."
I think Emilie will ignore you.
It's not deigning to reply to this from Valentine.
Yeah, it helped. The sunglasses helped.
Joske, what do we see? How are you joining the this fractious crew?
Yeah, I mean, I think I walk in, casual, wearing this kind of look, and I immediately look for Jack. I think I probably know to look for him in the greenhouse, because I want to, thank him for getting my back and apologize for not being able to track down the person who shot him.
Yeah. So Jack, are your handlers like hanging out with you, or does Joske get a moment to kind of like get you on your own?
Joske can speak freely. This is Trip. He met Trip, and Lena. Well,
oh no, I don't. I 100%. I didn't realize Lena was there. I think I would have spoken in front of Trip. I was not. I'm not going to speak freely in front of Lena.
Then I'll get up and I'll give you a moment so that we can walk to a corner and you can have my ear.
Right. Yeah. So I say what I said. Like, thanks for having my back up there on the roof. I didn't get the shooter, unfortunately, but did you happen to learn anything from our friend Jan?
No, I'm terribly afraid the French police objected to me asking him any more questions. But we know who he is. We can get him later.
Yeah,
and
we've definitely learned something here. Thank you.
But come, I'd like to introduce you to my friends. You know Trip, of course. And this is Lena. Lena and I have a history together. You might say that we're kin of a kind.
Yeah. So I look her up and down, and I ask her in Russian, like heavily Polish accented Russian, right? It's not fantastic Russian, but it's like it's you
conversational.
Yeah. I ask her what her story is.
Yeah. She kind of takes a moment, then replies in quiet, fluent Russian that she served, she died, then she was serving again somehow, like this one, head jerked at Jack.
Mm-hmm. And who are you serving now?
Yeah, I think she says. She says something to the effect of, she's found kindred spirits.
Sorry, you roboted in there.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Mhm.
Yeah.
She said something to the effect that she's found kindred spirits from her homeland who share an interest in keeping the world safe from some of the forces that created her.
I look at Jack and I say, I see your friend is of a like mind to you.
Joske, some things should not be. They should not have been. They should not continue.
Yeah, and I sort of shrug and maybe wave the waiter over as I and say, but nevertheless, they are often delightful drinking companions.
Is that offering comfort, or is this just for flavor?
I certainly can be if
Go for it, because I'm trying to hit my release move of enlisting you in a cause.
that's gonna be hard. But yeah, sure. Sorry. Basic moves. I just want to see what comfort involves. Yeah. Roll for streamer, which is not in great shape, right? No, it's okay. At a hit, you are both stating clear condition or stress. NPCs will credit you for supporting them. Okay, yeah, sure. Roll it. That is a 7 plus, I think, either 1 or 0.
I think you got 2 in Dreamer.
Oh, 2. So yeah, that's a 7 plus 2 is still only 9. But yeah.
Yeah, so that works. Yeah, you were both steadied and can clear a condition or stress. How do we see some of the I don't know. Are you choosing a condition or a stress, Joske?
I'm gonna choose a condition. Just because I think that's so it's twisted. And I think it's just sort of like because the way I had framed twisted was about like being kind of spun around by the presence of the Nightmare Fae at the party and being like sort of torn in 2 directions. And I think like, the mission ended, we weren't there, but I was still sort of like no longer conflicted and twisted in that way, but still kind of like spun around by the situation. And I think the sort of like that sitting, having a drink with my friend and his friends and feeling a sense of progress towards a goal in a certain way, right? As we were saying, that earlier part of that conversation has like just helped me get my equilibrium back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Jack, how do you respond to the sort of offered comfort, right, of Joske, identifying that even if you are an abomination, you are you're a good drinking buddy nonetheless.
I smile at that. I was always a good drinking buddy. I always make sure that when my friends threw up, they didn't throw up on their shoes. They threw up in the gutter where it's appropriate to do such things. Joske, I can use your help. Lena and I both could.
Look, have we had this conversation before? Have you been trying to get me to do this for a while, or is this the first time you're bringing it up?
I think this is the first time I'm bringing it up.
So yeah, so my help with what?
When I find the people who made me what I am, I need to kill them. And I need to make sure that the processes that they use to make me, the records, the documentation of it, is destroyed. And then I need to find a way to die.
look, you are my friend, and if you want my help, I will help you, and if you want me to shoot you, I will shoot you. But and if you want me to do whatever it takes to, I make a sort of like disassembling gesture, right? Like I'm happy to help you in as much as I can, and in as much as it doesn't, well, overly inconvenience me. I'll put myself out a bit for you, but I get the sense that that's not all you're asking.
Well, there are always pitfalls and detours, aren't there? But we can deal with those as they come up, can't we?
Always.
Here's my question for you, Jack. Is this making a stand, or is it like are you pushing it to that point, or you're just laying some things out there for Joske to consider?
I think I'm just trying to recruit him to pursue this lost cause with me.
All right.
Right. So like my basic take is like I have my mission. I don't care that much about anything else, but I like you, and I don't like shooting people doesn't bother me. So like if you want some help, I'll help you out. Yeah.
So it sounds like Jack, you can check Die Hard. You're making the pitch. Joske remains sort of only partially on board. Am I reading the situation right for the both of you?
Yeah, I'd say if you need a hand and I'm not doing anything else, I will give you a hand, but I'm not committed to the cause in any way.
Gotcha.
Jack, are you all right with that, or you want to push more at this point?
No, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But since that actually hits my level, do you want to have Trip give me a code name here? Just because it might be funny.
Oh man, putting me on the spot. Are you just open to whatever code name Trip has got for you?
I mean, I'm kind of partial to the code name Dead Man. Yeah. Trip, like, Trip's like, finishing up the coffee that he has, right? And well, that hits the spot. He says like mostly to Joske, right? Who he's been introduced to, and he's caught bits and pieces of this conversation. You seem like a moral individual.
I smile and sip at my espresso.
Surely you can help a dead man out and let him find a grave. And he's just grinning about this, and like offers to like clink coffee cups with you, Jack, if we want to have another like moment of clinking.
Yeah, I laugh, and I'll do it very gently so as not to chip the cups.
You don't want to chip the cups.
Yeah, Herr Franz has only recently just sort of said, "All right, you're sort of out of my bad graces."
All right, codename Dead Man, resolving some entanglement, and that codename becomes a thing you can invoke. You just need to give leverage to your handler to use it, but we'll hopefully see that in coming sessions. Emilie, you were pointedly ignoring Valentine last we saw you.
Yeah, and actually, I have a thought. Yeah, I think that like Valentine is just kind of blathering on, like, oh, Vicky never told me about you, but then she always likes to keep the one she actually cares about a secret from the rest of the family. And I think I'm like, as I'm kind of blathering on, I'm kind of offering comfort because I'm giving that away that she cares about you.
So the move triggers when you offer comfort to someone willing to listen. So Emilie, I have to ask you, are you willing to listen to this from Valentine?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
It's just like I'm gonna resign myself to being comforted by Valentine.
I'm not finished my breakfast. I can't really move from where I am at the moment.
Okay, that's a 5. So I do first off make myself lower my guard with you.
Yeah, you.
I'm gonna start to care too much. I think that Emilie is just a really nice like she is a sweet little ragamuffin like you encounter in those movies the folks of this realm
Wow,
produce.
that's like the exact opposite impression.
Oh wow.
But okay.
I mean, she steals stuff, but that's part of her charm.
That's amazing. So like as Valentine is just trying to offer some helpful comfort to Emilie. Emilie is basically stonewalling it, right? And like
Yep.
Valentine starts to to care too much about this individual. Yeah. I mean, am I right, Emilie, that you're mostly just tuning out Valentine or trying to force yourself not to hear what he's saying?
Yeah, I think I hear what he's trying to say, but I think I think like I'm not sure if like she's in the mood, but like she hears what he's saying.
You also know he thinks things about you like that you're a sweet little ragamuffin, which probably pisses you off.
Exactly.
As you're kind of Emilie,
go
for it.
ahead. I thought that was a miss. So
Valentine, as you're maybe like realizing that you do care about whether you can reach Emilie and make some kind of amends, you feel like unusually strong like hand on your arm, just like pulling you away, right? It's like just someone borrowing you in a social setting, but there's a lot of power behind that arm. Your cousin Scylla has just sort of
Scylla, darling, how wonderful to see
Wandering.
you.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see you too, she says, lying. And like it's just like pulling you away.
Must you wear that look? You know I like it when you smile.
She gives you another like definitely not a smile. And I'm gonna ask you to mark stress just because it's never like a great sign when your cousin turns up like this.
Okay.
As she says, Valentine, we need to talk. I'm hearing that Mother is very disappointed, and things are going to go badly for the two of us if we don't get her something nice.
Well, I suggest chocolates in a carb. I suggest that won't be appreciated.
And we may kind of fade away from that, but your cousin has grabbed you here. Mm-hmm. Emilie, you were just sort of posted up at the bar, right? You're having your breakfast and whatnot.
Yeah. I don't know if she has any bigger plans other than finishing breakfast. Well, she has plans, but I'm conscious of time, so.
Well, I think what we maybe see then at the end here is Herr Franz himself, appears across from you, and sets an envelope down in front of you. He says, "Young man said his name was Ambrose. Left this here for you."
I think Emilie would raise an eyebrow over the sunglasses and will open the envelope.
Yeah, envelope says, since I owe you a party. And inside is what's clearly an invitation, though it doesn't say what for. It just has an address, a date, and a embossed silver eye on the fancy paper.
This is the equivalent of catnip for Emilie. How dare you? Mysterious summons to a party? Come on.
And we may leave you there for the evening then, and next week we'll check in with our operatives, find out where they go next. For anyone who's been watching along, end of session moves. That's a thing. So real quick, Jack, do you have a pick from the end of session list?
Goodness gracious, going to put me on the spot just when I was writing down notes. All right, end of session moves. I definitely think I'm more loyal to Joske at this point. I mean, I took a collar for him, and he actually seemed to appreciate it, as opposed to other people who don't notice or comment on such things when I get shot for them, or, other things along those lines. Not looking at anyone in particular. Emilie?
So here's the question: Are you hitting the end of session move? Describe how another operative can tell you to take a bullet for them, and taking one of Joske's stress.
Does Joske have stress?
Oh, I have so much stress.
Maxed out stress.
I have so much stress.
If you look at the move that I just took, you won't have any stress at the beginning of next session. I'm a lot more loyal. I'm going to mark XP. We'll take care of Joske's stress next time.
All right. Marking XP for
session move next time.
Say again.
You're going to hit between session moves next time so that Joske can do the release and refresh.
Yeah. It sounded like Joske was interested in.
I was kind of interested in inviting Valentine to go with me but we can talk about that at the beginning of next session and see what makes sense.
I think it's plausible you'll be able to. Valentine's getting a message from his cousin, but that doesn't mean you can't talk to him as well.
It depends what Valentine wants, also. So but yeah.
Well, if you get like a trigger where you clear conditions and stress and stuff, if another PC goes with, I will absolutely go with.
Wonderful. Yeah. I think it'll be. I have some fun questions for Valentine.
Emilie, which would you pick from that end of session list?
She got her mission done. It doesn't feel like she had the best of times. I think her loyalty has shifted a bit. Look, it wasn't the CIA's.
How so?
Well, it's not CIA's fault that things going out the way it did, but I think Agent Dix are not even showing up to meet her there. But I thought we're rebuilding something. And this kind of ties into some stuff I want to do next week, which involves talking to the other side.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. So take an XP as your loyalty shifts a little bit away from the handler you've been working with most recently. Joske, which end of session move are you choosing?
So honestly, I think the one that makes the most sense, although I don't know necessarily what I want to do with the reward, but it will be there. We'll see what happens. Is that I think Jack has made it very, very clear to me what it is he cares about the most. And not that Jack has ever particularly tried to hide what he cares about the most, but he just laid it out for me. And I think that gives me another leverage.
Yeah, that sounds very plausible to me. Jack, do you agree?
I would not argue that at all.
All right. Leverage on Jack for Joske. Valentine, last but not least, what do you choose from the end of session list?
I have gained. I'm pretty sure. I feel like it's pretty. I've gained advantageous insight pretty much into Emilie. I now know that she and Victoria used to be a thing, which I should keep in mind.
Yeah, that works for me. Emilie, does that sound right to you for a leverage going over to Valentine? All right. we got some interesting relationships building up among these operatives. We've also had some some crazy stuff going down in the city, and I'm excited to come back next week, find out a little more about what the the domino effects are going to be. For anyone who's watched along, thanks for joining in. In the meantime, be safe out there.